you may be blessed with having him as your mentor for the process. When we first got to know Felipe, it was really an awesome opportunity to see someone who is an investor, gets very involved in supporting the entrepreneur with cash, but more importantly, gets involved because he himself has been a successful entrepreneur. When he exited his company a few years ago, that's when he started investing, and he saw all the challenges. And he's one of those people who remembers exactly what it's like to be this person with a big idea and a team to support, and just wanting to make sure stuff is done right with systems, with documentation, with process. So today's conversation is really about, from the investor point of view, what he's looking for, but remembering from the entrepreneur point of view, exactly how to set things up for success. So we're thrilled to have Felipe. Thank you so much for finding the time today. And Carlos and I are going to be co-leading this session to make sure that all the questions coming in from Facebook Live, YouTube, the chat here, we want to make sure your questions get in. So feel free to put them in as you come up with them, and we'll get Felipe really thinking through how best to serve this incredible EWC community we've all created. Thank you, Felipe. Thanks for joining us. All you.
Oh, hi. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Carlos. Well, guys, as Susan said, I came from a student to an investor. So to make a long story short, I will tell you guys a little bit about my history. So when I have just arrived to Brazil from US, I was doing my summer course there. My future partner came to me and said, look, I have an idea. We should develop some IT solutions for the largest companies in Brazil. So they have a lot of problems, and I have an idea how we can fix them. And I said, okay, tell me more a little bit about that. And he said, look, the largest company in Brazil, they work with SAP, Oracle, JD Edwards, NewsSuite, and they need to talk to each other, but they don't. And sometimes those companies don't want to develop a solution to make this communication. So we should do that. And after that, we try to understand a little bit more. We did some search about that, and it was a real pain to the managers. The managers really wanted a solution to do the Oracle, talk about with JD Edwards, to talk with the SAP, and we came to them and said, look, we have the solution. It's very easy to set up. It's it's a low cost, and it's a Brazilian company. So you're gonna help everyone. And they decided to use that, and it was a blast. So after that, we start to develop this kind of solution to these companies. And in 5 years, we were in 8 of the 10th largest company in Brazil. So with that, we have a huge growth. And that's when we start to thinking about not only develop solutions, but try to help a company as well. So we try to do a kind of internal incubator. So we found a company in Brazil that was developing a solution for schools and colleges. And we offered them to help, not with money, no money, but with team, with structure and management. So after that, this company came to us and we helped them. After a couple of years, we were completely integrated. And some years later, we sold this company to an American company, indeed, for 12 times what we have spent, not with money directly, but with team, structure, and management. And the founders made 40 times what they spent in the beginning. So it was a good thing to them. So we think to not only think about technology, but think about incubation as well. So I began to develop the structure of the incubator and things like that, but it became huge. So I could not do the same thing to manage my company and manage the incubator. So I left the company and I started my VC with an incubator. This VC company is focused on tech, agribusiness, and energy, and education. So what do we provide? We realized, and you guys probably gonna pass through the same thing. More than money, sometimes the company needs it's what we used to say, seed management. Because seed money, if you do not have a plan, if you do not have an structure, the money is gonna go away just like that. So we used to provide the management as well and the structure. It's much better than only put money and expect for the results. So after that, what we do now, when we think about to have a company, to invest in some company, we look for three mainly things. First one, this company is fixing a real pain or a real demand. The second one, this solution is scalable. Probably if we have a possibility to sell in Brazil, in Argentina, in North America, in Europe, in Africa, it's a good thing. But if it's you can only sell in my city, it's not what we look for. Probably it can be a good thing, but not for an investor. And the third thing is what you guys are looking for when you came to the EWC, to show what you have in special. Is the process, is the product, is the price, is the team, whatever. So once you have these three things, we decide if it's a company you can invest. So you guys, when you're looking for an investor or a partner, or when you try to bring to your team a very good professional, you have to show them this profile. You know, if you can do a real pain solution, if you are scalable, and if you have a differential to offer to your market. So after that said and done, I'd like to show you guys this presentation here. I will share the screen. And the idea of this deck is not only talk about reports, but about the questions you guys should do to yourself to be sure it's a good investment to the people from the outside. I don't know if can you see that? Okay. All right. So the report for the three stages of business development. So I divided in three categories: idea, yeah, when you're just in the real beginning, early stage, and growth stage. In 6 areas: finance, technology or product, human resource, marketing, sales, and accounting. What I'm trying to do when I segregate these things is to show that it's not bad if you have the whole thing when you're in idea stage, but you focus on the main important thing. And when you move from the idea to early stage, you should bring with you the questions and answers you had in the idea stage. And when you move to the growth stage, you should bring the early and idea stage to make the whole package together, okay? Okay. So when you came to me and offered a solution or your company to invest, the first question I'm gonna ask you is about the problem you're gonna solve. You know, are you sure it's a real problem, or you just develop something and you try to find a customer and you try to develop a demand? So it's something you should ask to yourself, because if the problem is a real pain, it's going to be easier to sell. It's going to be easier to grow. The second question, you should ask yourself about competitors. If there are competitors, who are they? What are they doing? Where is the focus of them? Pricing, quality, delivery, anything else. So if there is a competitor, it's bad because you have a competition, but it's good because if there is someone selling the thing, it means there are customers wanting to buy it. You know. The third question: okay, you have the product or your technology, you know the competitors, but I'd like to know, uh, have you ever asked to your customers or prospective customers or to your demand what they're looking for? So if you know that you have a good product to develop for your technology, for your team, but sometimes it's not good for the market, for the customer. So it's a good thing to go and search about it. I would like to know about the roadmap. So, okay, I can see your idea, I can see what you conceive, but I want to know, okay, in 1 year, what's the next step? In 3 years, in 5 years? Show me not only the photo, but I would like to see the whole film, you know? I'd like to see where I'm planning to go. And I want to see if it's a thing that I can believe, it's something you can do, it's something you can, if you can trust in what are you saying, okay? And the last thing about your technology or product is about your advantage over the competition. Okay, you got competitors, it means you have customers. What you gonna offer differently to the customers? Okay, I'm gonna sell a low cost, you're gonna deliver faster, you're gonna give more quality, whatever. But you have to do something different, because if you do the same, your competitor, it's hard to say your client's gonna move from one to other. Okay. The second thing, I really don't know which one is the most important thing when I came to a company. If it's the technology, the product, or the human resource. Why? Because I used to say, company, no matter what kind of company it is, it's made from people to people. You know, if you do technology, if you do a software, there is someone developing the software, a software engineer developing, and there is a kid using the game, or a businessman using the software. If you are working with cattle, there is somebody taking care of the cattle, and there is somebody eating the meat. So it's people to people. You have to understand people. And it means you have to ask if you have the good people, the qualified people to do what you need to be done. So what kind of skills do you need to have this product done? Okay. You can think about to start a company with friends, family, but sometimes at some point, those people would not be able to do what you have to be done. So you have to think about it. What skills do I have to look for to have this product done? Okay. Once you decide what the skills you have to see, if you have inside of your team people with these skills. If you do not have, I will ask you, where are you going to find those people? Do you have the right tools? Do you have the network? Do you have connections? Do you have what to offer? That's why I was talking about for you guys before. To bring good people to your company, you have not only sell your dream to them, but you have to show the future, the roadmap of the career, the roadmap of the finance, the profit, whatever, but you have to get it prepared. So I'm going to ask you, can you find these people? Can you attract these people? Is there enough schools forming people to offer to you, to your competitors? Because if there is too much competition and too less schools and people being formed, you're going to fight for the good one. It's not a good thing. So I would like to know about the skills, how to attract, if there is a schools nearby. And when you bring these people, what do you want to offer them? I'm not talking about only salary and benefits. I'm talking about the whole package. You know, they're gonna work in a good environment with respect, with transparency. What do you want to offer? And I would like to hear from you guys. What do your dreams include on that position about human resource? Because once you have the technology and you lose the most part of your team for your competitors, you're going to lose the whole thing, you know? So it's important to bring them and to keep them, okay? The third thing is about marketing. So do you know where your clients are? Do you, or your clients must have to find you? So it's not a good thing if it's hard to find you. It's a I suggest you guys to think about how to get them, how to make them to know you. And I'm gonna ask you, what tools are you using to find your customers, your prospective customers? What tools are you guys using to see if your customers are satisfied with your product? Okay. Oh, we're gonna say, oh, Felipe, you're still in an idea stage. Man, if you're not prepared to move from idea to early into growth stage, it's not a good thing. You must think about now and then. Okay. The third thing, your market, is it big enough to you and your competitors? Is it growing? Is it easy to find, easy to offer your product? It's a good question. You should guys ask yourself. Okay, how is the share of this market? How many competitors? If it's a hard thing to get in, maybe it's a good thing, because in the future you're gonna not have a lot of competitors, but it's a bad thing if you're not inside yet. Okay, and the last thing is a BP or business plan about your product. If you're in idea reports, I'm not gonna ask you about finance yet, but you should think about it in your business plan. What you guys in EWC you're gonna talk about a pitch and the pitch deck. So the business plan, I would like to know about your product, about your dreams related to future, related to people, revenues, marketing, and the whole thing. Okay, I'd like to know if you guys have thought about that. And the finance. Oh, when you start to talk about finance, you guys are gonna talk about early reports. You know, you have moved from idea to early stage. It means the company has the product. It's start to sell this, and I hope it's growing. So to make it a very strong company, I would like to know, okay, how much money do you guys need to move from early to growth stage? If you know that, probably you're gonna know about cash flow, you're gonna know about budget. It means you know how much money you need to grow your team, to develop your product, and to make your customer happier, to understand a little bit more about your market, to advertise and things like that. So the finance is much more related to make you grow and to make you spend the money you're asking for, than to show if the company now is profitable or something like that. I don't want to know when I go to an early stage company if it's a profitable, because probably if it is a profitable company, they don't need my money, they don't need my management, they just need my time to show me something. So I want to know, are you guys ready to show me that the money I'm gonna put in your company is good enough to make it profitable in few years? That's important to think about. So you can use estimated cash flow, a budget, and the BP now related to finance, and the current cash flow to show me you're not gonna break in few months if I do not put money now. Okay. Still the early parts. You guys, you're gonna see, once you're in early stage, you must worry about another thing. Your product is not only just an idea, it's now in the market. So it's gonna be judged, it's gonna be used. And if you guys think it's just like something you're just selling, you're gonna probably lose a lot of money. Why? Because your competitors are thinking about safety procedures, about data, about the number of problems you're gonna have. Okay, and you have to think about the roadmap. The roadmap you showed me in the idea stage. Now it's something you can see in real. Okay, look, you said you were supposed to do this development, to offer this kind of a product, and now let me see what you have done. If you can show me you're able to plan and do, it's a good thing to make me comfortable to see in the near future you're going to do the last of the things you're planning to do, the roadmap planning. So let me see how you're going to make your little and small revenue become a huge revenue, developing your product, developing your market, creating new products and things like that. Because it's not easy to make money selling the same product all the same time, because if it's a good thing, probably your competitors are going to do the same, and in the near future they're going to do the same with a low cost. You can see the whole companies from a lot of different countries that came to your country selling the same product you do with much less money. Okay. Do you want to open for questions? I don't know if I have passed the 3 or 4.
I have a couple of questions that have come in,
Okay.
relating to some of the points that were mentioned earlier. And the question that came in was asking around the idea reports, your number 2. It said, what constitutes a good competitor report, in terms of, I guess what they're trying to ask is like the depth. How much information do they actually have to dive in to tell you that it's been well researched,
Okay.
or that they understand its complexities?
Okay. Is there the ideal world and the possible world? So today with the internet, you can have a lot of information. And if these competitors are selling stock, probably you can see any information you need. But I'd like to know about the product. How do they do that? Where do they do that? Where's the difference from your to them products? I'd like to know how long does this product take to move from this stage to the next level? I mean, the roadmap, how fast they change the product to make it cheaper or better or faster, whatever. I'd like to know how your competitors find their team, if they pay a good salary, a bad salary. Oh, Felipe, it's hard to find it. No, it's not, man. If you go to the companies that hire people, you can ask them, they're gonna probably not say the name of the company, of your competitors. They're gonna say, oh, look, you're paying that and the market's paying something like that. So you're gonna know if your salary is a not good, attractive thing. So as many information you have, but to make a short answer, I'd like to know the price, team, and the product. Things like that is going to be easier to understand if you can compete with them or we're going to lose for them in the competition.
If you would, Felipe, I think it'd also be helpful. I know that a lot of people are coming to you for investment, and some of them are in industries you know well, and others are not. So I'd love for you to give examples of when you don't know the industry well, but you like the team, you like the product. Where do you start sourcing to actually test some of these or validate some of the stuff they're telling you? Because part of this is really making sure that they've done their research, and they may come with a lot of good answers, but what kind of documentation or what do you want to see, or how do you validate some of the information they're giving you during diligence?
Okay. We have two sources of information. It's the inside team, and the outside is just like government. You have competitors, you have customers. The first part, the internal one, even from the company, you can have good information if you interview the team, not the heads, not the founders, but the team, the developers, the operational guys. So you can see if the information match with they are presenting. So it's just experience helps, but sometimes you're gonna see how what they say and what they do not match. So you can ask for regular reports, just like from accounting, from the finance statements. So you can see, oh, you have this kind of market share. Okay, you have that. Let me check with the amount of tax you pay. Sometimes it's a good thing, a good example. Once you were talking to a food company, and they said they used to sell a lot of special thing, and in the reports we could see the numbers. They had a good numbers, and the people said it was a real thing and things like that. But when you asked about the tax statements, and they showed us, say, look, you're selling that and you're paying just like you're selling that. Why? Something like that. Oh, look, it's because you see when they are not doing what they're saying they're doing, it's sometimes you're gonna find, and the lie is in the details, you know. That's why I say that the devil's on the details. So just talk, just look around, and you're gonna find. And you have the outside information, people that are not related to them. So you can ask to the government. You can go to the competitors and ask things like that. For example, if you want to buy a software, and I would call to a competitor of this company and say, look, I'm thinking about to buy your software, but I have another option that this guy, what do you say about those guys? And they can tell you a lot of things, you know, good things, bad things. Some are real, some are not, but you can understand in the future how easy it is to get information from these people. And you can call the customers and say, look, I'm thinking about to buy the software or this food or this service, and I know they said you're a customer. Can you tell me something about that? What do you think? Do you recommend, and something like that? And sometimes you're gonna hear a lot of good information, and you can check what you hear inside, and cross if you can hear it outside.
Thanks. Go ahead, back to your presentation. Great answer.
Okay. Again, now you have in the idea stage where you're thinking about to have a team. Now you have one. So I'm gonna ask you: Have you ever thought about how you keep them? Have you ever thought about policies to keep them, just like a care, salary benefits, and tools to hire people? Because guys, look, if it's very expensive, and if you have never heard about that, but it's much more expensive to find a new customer than to keep a new customer. It's the same with the human resource. It's much more expensive to keep to find a new team member than to keep one. So sometimes the company lose some very good team member because they don't want to pay a little bit more, or to give a benefit, or to make the company easier to the guy work. And in the future, they're gonna find it's very, very hard and expensive to find another one with the same profiles and skill. So keep your people, and think about how to keep your people. You know, you have to show them, oh, if you stay here, or maybe now is not a good salary, but look our roadmap, look our business plan, look the number of investors are talking to us. So if you do your job as you must do, you're gonna have a lot of money in the future to pay you a good salary, to give you benefits, but not only talk, show, but in a report. You know, you discuss with them how what they want to be happy, and what they want to be healthy working there. Okay. marketing. So now, guys, you have the product, and you probably know where your customers are. So how do you gonna get them? How do you gonna tell them you have a very good product? You have a real solution for their pain. So the marketing strategy, you're gonna show you where to find them, how to keep them, the tools you're gonna use. Are you gonna use the internet? Oh, some clients, and I can say with my own example here in Brazil, some customers, they don't like to use the internet to find the solution they need. They want to look in your eye, they want to touch your hand, they want to talk about their family. So you have to spend time to sell. So your marketing strategy is going to tell you that, okay? To sell to this kind of company, to this kind of people, you need to do that, and you have this money to spend. So you're going to use not only the strategy, but you're going to use the experience you have accumulated from the idea to early stage to make the customer understand. You understand him, you understand the pain, you understand the problem. All right. Before you move to the growth reports, any questions, or can I move on? Move on? Okay. I hope you guys in few years are gonna have those problems. I hope you guys are in the growth stage, and you're gonna have to thinking about the forecast, budget, cost control. Why? When you achieve this stage, you guys are having different problems. Not only thinking about, how do I do this product? How do I develop the solution? How do I hire people? No, now you guys, you have a huge problem, because you guys have a lot of customers. You have a lot of problems. You have to pay a lot of guys. You have to pay a lot of expenses. So you have to control it. And I'd like to know, how are you controlling that? Because making money is much, much, much harder than to spend money. So if you control your money, it shows you are controlling your company, okay? It doesn't matter if you have a very good revenue number. I'd like to know the bottom line, okay? If you make 100, but you spend 200 to make this 100, I don't want you to be your partner. I'd like to know if it's the 100 you made, how much you expended to make it. You're spending in a good way. You know how are you doing that? Are you controlling that? So those reports are gonna help you guys to understand and see the moment you're living, but preparing to the future. So cost control. Can I do the same thing with much less expenses, with much less effort? Am I being profitable? Am I paying the right amount of tax? I'm not telling you do not pay tax. I'm telling you to plan how to pay less tax. You can do a lot of different things to pay less taxes. You can go to another country. You can produce one part here, one part there. You can do a spin-off. It depends not only the law, but the business culture, the economy, but you can do a lot of different things. But the tax planning is gonna help you to pay much more taxes, okay? Technology product, as we said, now you have not only one product. I hope you have a lot of different products, a lot of different versions of this product, a lot of different teams working different process in different projects. So you're gonna have a quality control. Do you have it? How do you know that your product in the company A is the same in the company B? And how do you know that the company B is using the best version, or paying the highest amount of money they could pay for this product? The quality control is gonna help you that. new development. So once you guys have reached this point where you have a lot of projects, a lot of process, a lot of teams, you're gonna see you cannot stop that. You know, a company, it's a movement. You cannot sleep in just one product. You're gonna have to move to another product. You're gonna move to another versions. If you guys see those huge companies around the world, they are not having just one product, because it's not possible. If you have just one product, it's risky. And once you open the number of products, the number of service, you are making the risk slower, and that's what you want. So see what your competitors are doing, see what your customers are demanding. Use the benchmarking to make a better product, not only product, but service, deliverables, quality, prices, whatever, okay? And now, always think about the roadmap. I'd like to know if you guys are prepared to say what you're gonna do and do what you said. So you're gonna see the roadmap plan versus accomplished, right? Again, human resource. You have a huge number of people working for you. In the last 2 years before I sold my company, I had almost 250 people working for me. It's a lot of people. You cannot control those people face to face. You have people, you need people, manage people that are managed people. So you have to think about the organization climate. How do you do that? Monitoring that. You have to see if you cannot talk to when you're in the idea stage or early stage, you can go to everybody and say, hey, how do you feel? What happened today? How was your day? How was your son? Once you have 50, 100, 200 people working for you, it's impossible. You cannot do that. How do you make it work? You have to prepare a system, a process to be sure that all the people have the treatment they need, their demands are completely fulfilled. So organizational climate monitoring and turnover. Why are you guys losing people? Because the salary, why the competitors are calling them and giving different things like benefits or plans. We don't know, but you have to be sure that you're controlling them, because people are the soul of a company. Okay, maybe when you talk about technology, you think about software, but when you're thinking about the core of a company, it's always people, always people. Any question? Move on.
I have a few, but I don't know whether we should keep going, or I can save them to the end as well.
Okay.
You feel like you're in a good flow.
All right. Marketing, we talking about campaigns. You're talking about you have to plan everything, because when you're in the growth stage, everything costs a lot of money. It's not only you go to yourself to the internet and you develop a website for your product and things like that. You know, it must be professional. It must show to the investors that you know what you're doing, that you're a good team, or if it's internal team or external team, it doesn't matter, but you know what you're doing, and you're showing to the world that you're growing with in a good basis, okay? And you have to worry about the name of your company, right? It's not the founder's name anymore. Probably the founder is gonna be just an idea, not a person related to the company anymore. So you have to worry about the branding. I'm not buying the Susan's company. I'm buying Google. I'm buying Facebook. So you have to worry about the branding, the sales. If you wanna grow strongly and grow faster, you have to worry about the sales. And what kind of information I want to see from you guys on the sales. How how many interviews per week are you guys doing? How many of those interviews become leads, and how many of these leads become a real customer? So you're gonna see the funnel. If you see if it's a large or small, it doesn't matter. And I want to understand that, because you can work on this tunnels fuel. So revenue analysis by product, channel, region, the pipeline is very important. I want to know if you guys are following your prospective customers. I would like to know if you guys understand why the customers or prospective customers are not interested on our company, on our product, on our service. So the pipeline is going to show you that, oh, they think we are very slow to answer. They think we are very expensive. They think we do not have the quality. They said that the marketing saying we're not good enough. So it doesn't matter. You have to control that to see how to help the sales area to make a lot of revenue. That's why the company lives, right? To make revenue. So you have to compare the revenue plan. When you did the marketing planning, you said, oh, if I spend a lot of money in the Google advertisement, if I spend money in the LinkedIn or Instagram, I'm going to make a lot of money. So you have to see if those channels are really profitable, and you have to compare and move to another one, or, oh no, it's a very good one. Oh, invest a little bit more. The sales cycle, depending on the kind of business you have, the sales cycle is very, very, very long. For example, if you're building a building, you're gonna spend 2 years or more to make money. You know, if you build malls to rent space, you're gonna need a lot of money and you're gonna need a lot of time to make money. So the sales cycle is important to check if the money you saw in your cash flow is enough to sustain your time. Okay, and of course the sales, you must have goals. You must see for achieving the goals you set. So the short term and the long term, you have to see if we're achieving, if you have the proper team, you have the proper tools, if you have the channel. So if you're not achieving the goals, you have to move on to another one, or maybe you have to think deeper and understand that probably the problem is not the goals, but your product or your price, whatever. But the goals, you have to have something, you have to have the metrics to understand if you are doing the right thing, the right moment, with the right place. Okay. And to finish, of course, guys, if you're a company that are selling, if you have people, a lot of guys working for you, if you have a lot of customers, I want you guys to show me in the formal way. And how do you do that? In the balance sheet, you know, the assets you have. I'd like to know the income statement. If there are a lot of things we can do in the cash flow, but in the end of the day, the income statements, that what counts to the formal things, right? And the retained earnings statement, I'd like to know, okay, you guys are making money, but how are you spending this profit? Are you guys ready to make more money? Is the company ready to have a big revenue, or the revenue is, or the profit is not good enough to make the company grow? Oh, the money you guys have is enough to pay yourself, and probably you're not gonna need me in the near future. It's a good way to see in the retained earnings statement. Okay, I think that if you go to the questions, we can give more examples.
Sure, I would love to start, and we're getting a lot of questions streaming in through the different ways we're streaming this event. I would love to start really simply with, you're looking at so many different opportunities across idea, early, and growth stage businesses. How, when you start doing diligence and really understanding what value you can add, how much of what they're telling you as far as what their needs are? Are you balancing with your opportunity to coach and kind of help them think bigger?
Okay. When you're talking to a company in the idea stage, actually it's not a company, it's just people, right? Usually they are a bunch of guys together with a dream. When they come to me and said that, okay, they're telling me a story, and I try to understand this story in a context. Okay, does it make sense with in the economy that we're living now? Does it make sense with the companies that do the same or similar products or service? Is that something we can predict, just like they are predicting? And things like that make easier to see. Sometimes the people are not lying, they're just dreaming. And so you have to understand the difference between the lie and the dream. And most of people are dreaming, not lying. And sometimes you just have to put them down and say, okay, it's possible, but we have to, one step by step. So the idea stage is talking, and of course, we can check information. Oh, how do you know that you can make this amount of money selling this product? Oh, I saw this company, I saw this government information, I saw in the other country how they're doing. We can check that. We have a team that check that information, and we do our thoughts about that. And sometimes it's not that hard to understand how close to the reality are the numbers. To the early stage and growth stage, it's easier because they have not only a dream, but they have a little history, sometimes a good history. So we can see the numbers. You can check the information with the team. You can see if they are good predicting things. Okay, let me see what you said in the idea stage you were going to do, and let me see what we're doing now. So you can check how they are good in predicting, how they're good doing things they plan. We can check with, again, with clients, or sometimes with ex-employers. Okay, you can call them and say, oh, why did you leave the company? What do you think about this company? It's good. We use, not always, but sometimes we used to call ex-customers to say, hey, why did you leave those companies? Why don't you work with them anymore? It's a good way to see if the informations are real or not overestimated or something like that. I don't know if I answered your question, Susan.
No, that's perfect. One other thing to kind of follow on with that, can you give us some idea about, from the investor perspective, when you're doing investments at different phases, what are you actually expecting when it relates to a board seat, oversight? Because if you're doing early, if you're doing seed stage, you may not be along for the long-term ride. But if you're investing or involved at a later stage, truly exactly kind of what the role will be with that board seat. So can you kind of speak to the follow-on investing part of how you're viewing your role in the company through the different phases as an advisor, as a board member, as a mentor? How do you build up and make sure that the expectations are met on both sides?
Okay. I'm going to tell you how we do. I know that other funds do different, but we do for the ideas stage, we do not put anybody inside. We work much more like a mentor as a consultant. Sometimes even if we put some money, we're not part of the structure. Because usually it's small, they are just preparing ideas and preparing solutions, not working operationally. So they do not need us day by day basis. In the early stage, we put someone in the operational area. Maybe the CFO or something, or someone like this, to understand and to follow the day by day, and to report everything. We want you to have some kind of voice to decide some important questions, you know. And when you go to the growth stage, again, we move out from the company. You are not on the day by day. Sometimes we go to the board members, one or two, depend on the size of the company. But we act more like a consultant again, but more with the voice to decide what they have to do to get a veto, something like that, to understand we are not that we are in the same page with the company, you know. So go outside as the idea stage, you go inside, and you get outside again the growth stage.
So now, from an entrepreneur standpoint, when you were getting your early investors and inviting people to join your board, can you go through examples of how you vetted investors, how you vetted board members, and how you managed their expectations so that you could make the best relationship possible?
Okay. When you're bringing someone to your company, if you think only about money, it's not a good idea, because sometimes this money came with a lot of pressure if the investor do not understand what you do, you know. So the first thing you should ask to the investors, if they understand what you are doing, if they have experience, or their team has experience on doing that. Because if you have to spend time doing your product, developing your technology, and explaining to investors why you're doing that, it's going to be very, very hard work. So money is important, but if the guys bring experience, bring management, bring expertise, is much more important sometimes than the money. So we have company now, we're talking to a bunch of guys. They are developing to the market, to the financial market, a product. The banks doesn't understand. The bank don't understand what they are doing. So they came to me asking for help. I said, man, if the banks don't understand, I don't understand. We have to find someone that understands that what they're doing and what they're saying, to explain to the banks, and then you're going to see if it's a good thing. So money is important, of course. You can break with money, but not only money, guys. Think about experience, expertise, how to aggregate the teams, how do the guys understand what you are doing, and how they can help you with what you are doing. Otherwise, they're gonna just ask for results, and we know that sometimes the results takes time to happen.
Thank you, Felipe. There are tons of questions coming in. So Carlos, can you start sharing some of the questions from the wonderful attendees?
Sure, of course. One question came in from one of our live streams asking for idea and earlier stage companies. Do we need to have an idea of how much money we need to move from the idea to early stage? How best can they craft a message around that? Okay.
If you have this idea, it's the best one. How can you go to someone and ask money if you do not know how much money you're going to ask, right? So when you came to me and said, hey, Felipe, I need $100,000. Okay, say, okay, why do you need that? Oh, I need to the team, to the market, to develop technology, whatever. But you need, you don't need to be a precise number, but you need estimate something to explain why you need that money, right? Even to yourself. But sometimes if you do not know where you are going, how are you gonna get there?
There was another question that I also had, and this one transcends stage. So I guess maybe it in context of every stage, it would work well to discuss. But thinking about training employees. So, the challenge is always the scarcity of time to do so versus the need to also complete very actionable objectives for the company. What types of recommendations do you have for someone that's in the early stage or in the growth stage that has to deal with this conflict of, training and the time it takes to do that versus needing to also execute as quickly as possible?
Okay, probably you're gonna have a lot of different answers for that, but I'm gonna give you what we used to do in our company. When a new team member arrived, we defined two guys to be with him or her, a coach and a mentor. The coach is gonna help him to understand how to develop operation, how to understand the product, the company, and whatever. It's a day-by-day basis. The mentor gonna help this member how to move on to the next level of quality, of salary, whatever. So one you're gonna play day by day, and the other one you're gonna help him or her to keep growing in the organization.
Awesome. Another question came in directly here, and it was asking, from your own experience, what do you consider best practices to control cash flow and reach a balance between being frugal or lavish with your expenses?
Well, the first thing you're gonna have the cost control, to check if every expense is necessary. If you can trade to another one a little bit lower or something like that. And you have to compare sometimes with, you can have information, the media with the government information, if your competitors or a company of your size, of your area are doing the same. So the first thing is look inside. Why do I need to expand, to pay this money for that stuff? It's necessary? Oh yeah, it is. How much money I'm gonna make if I spend this money? I don't know. If you know that your expenses are going to generate, helps to generate a revenue, it's a good expense. If you're not sure, it's not a good expense. So be sure you're spending money where you're going to generate money.
So I guess also on that end, just taking it back to like some of the elements of like HR here and thinking about value adds, right? And hiring in order to make money. What are some of the best strategies that you would recommend for individuals that are thinking of needing to deal with like maybe hiring juniors that have like a big upside versus bringing people in with a lot of experience? I know there's pros and cons to both sides. What can you talk about that, especially when you think of value add for the future?
Okay, guys, I'm going to give you a soccer team example. You can have just one Messi. You can have just one Cristiano Ronaldo, one Neymar. But once you have a good guy in your team, the rest of the team, you're going to move to the next level. So have a good guy, a good coach, a good one to show to the rest of your team that they can go to another level. Once you did that, everyone is gonna be a little bit of Messi, a little bit of Ronaldo, or something like that.
Great, another Socrates here. One of the things that I also wanted to think of on that perspective too is that, as companies start to grow and scale, there are people and founders start to talk a lot about the growing pains of companies. And how is it that you're able to take, and maybe you can pull from your own example or from what you've maybe coached others through in a similar case, taking these teams through those growing pains? What are some of the best things that companies can do to be able to manage those challenging times? Growth, maybe there's a, scarcity of funds as they're waiting for a next investment to come in. Maybe you're scaling, the sales effort and, whatever it is. I know there's a lot of pressures there. How do we get the team to survive and thrive in that environment?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you again about my experience. In our company, we have a human resource area. They are very strong. They were free to decide some policies, to decide what to do to make the team better and to understand the team. Sometimes they used to do things that I didn't like it, but as a policy, they are free to do that and to try to balance those problems. And it surprisingly, it almost the time it helpful. They couldn't do that, and so what I would just say is you should support your human resource area, your I don't know, the guys that working for people, and help him, support him with tools, sometimes with money, sometimes with freedom, to understand what the people need and to make it a better place to work.
And I have, I guess, sort of one last parting question, and then I'll take a look back at the threads again. But understanding earlier in your conversation as well, you were talking about understanding limitations of a team or understanding limitations of a company from either a technical perspective or, you know, disadvantages, really. When we're in this process of being evaluated by potential investors, what's the best way to actually frame out some of these discussions around where we're not good and being very realistic about those things too? How can we still show face and strong in the eyes of an investor while needing to discuss or disclose some of these key weaknesses that we might have?
I must say you must have a 100% transparent with the investors, but put yourself on your investor position. If they discover you're hiding something, how do you think he's gonna think about the next information you give? You know, having a problem is not a problem at all if you know it's a problem. If you know it's a problem, is that the first step to solve it. If you're hiding that, it's a problem, because once they discover that, they not trust you anymore. It's not going to be not a very healthy relationship. So be clear, show you know the problem, show you are trying to fix that, show you understand how long time it's going to take to fix it. Be transparent, and the guy is probably going to help you and be very, very amazed you're transparent.
That's great. It seems like most of the questions here have been addressed. One last one came to mind, and I was taking a note earlier, and I just came across it, and then I think that would be it. So based on all of the different reports that you've discussed today, what do you think, or what would you consider to be the most relevant from an investor point of view, like the must-have at every single stage for, you know, the context of your conversation today?
Okay. In the early stage, I want to know if the first question, you know, if you understand that your solution is for real pain, if it's for real demand, it's mandatory. In the early stage, I should say roadmap and cash flow. In the third stage, you're going to think everything related to sales and human resource. Basically, if you think about that, of course, not only that, but it's the most important answer to the question, I think are those.
That's great. Felipe, that closes out my questions, and I think from what we were able to see on the threads as well. So I feel pretty confident in leaving the discussion there. You know, just on behalf of the entire Entrepreneurship World Cup family and, you know, the individuals on our team as well that have been putting a lot of thought and planning into these discussions, we really thank you for your time and for sharing your knowledge and your experiences and obviously your passion in this work. For those individuals that will be lucky enough to pass through to the Accelerate 2 round, you might actually have Felipe as one of your mentors. So that's a pretty exciting prospect. He's, seen a lot of things and done a lot of things. So we're looking forward to be able to also match you with some really awesome entrepreneurs when we have some great people in the pipeline for you. Also, somebody else here said that they were excited. 1958 Botafogo. So you have another fan here somewhere on the call, Ronaldo from Brazil. For everybody else that's on the call, we have a pretty stacked roster of events coming up from your national finals, especially in countries that are not global pool. We have, looks like the month of August is going to be a pretty heavy month for national competition. So keep an eye out for more information about that. And congratulations already to companies coming from Colombia, and it looks like Libya, and recently as early as today, Malaysia, for closing out their national competitions. So I'm all set. Wishing everybody a great rest of the week, happy evening, or a great next day for those of you that are far away from Miami, and looking forward to joining next week. So thank you again, Felipe, and stay safe, and looking forward to seeing you during Accelerate 2.
Thank you, guys. I hope to see you in a few months, and have a good luck.
Thank you, Felipe. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.